morning, everyone, and welcome to Wake Up Legendary. My name is Joanne. I am the Director of Marketing and Life Training here with Legendary Marketer, and I have the pleasure of being your host today on this pretty awesome Thursday. We have another returning guest who I love. I love her story, and I love what's kind of been going on since the last time she was on. So we're going to do a nice catch up there as well. Before I bring her on, let's do a few housekeeping items. Our mastermind is at the end of January, right on that weekend where it transitions into February. It's going to be in Austin, Texas. We had another planning meeting about it yesterday, and I am pumped. Of course, our big Saturday night party is going to be a Western theme. Julie already said, I got to go get me some boots. We're going to have some fun. And of course, we have a pretty phenomenal lineup of speakers that I'm going to be spilling out to all of you as well. This is an event you do not want to miss. You want to get into the room. You want to meet like-minded people. It's a whole room that wants to see everyone win. And it's just a cool experience, totally worth it. Head over to legendarymarketer.com/enroll. You'll see a button to the mastermind page where you can learn all about it and grab your ticket right there. So all you got to do, legendarymarketer.com/enroll, and you can sign up. You do not need to be a Blueprints member to attend mastermind either. If you just want a ticket to the event, that's where you head, and you can grab your ticket right there, which is always exciting. If you are new here and would like to get notifications of when we go live each morning, Monday through Friday, right here for Wake Up Legendary, head over to legendarymarketer.com/WUL, and it will redirect you right into a Facebook broadcast room. You'll join it, and all you'll get is a notification about a few minutes after we go live each morning with a direct link to that live. There's no other messages. There's no other spam. Nobody else can talk in there. So it's literally 5 messages a week in the morning right when we go live. So it's pretty cool. So be sure to go and join that broadcast room. It's pretty awesome. And as a marketer, go check it out because it could be something that you can utilize within your business as well. Free tool on Facebook. Think about that. All right. Without further ado, please help me welcome Quincey to the show. Good morning.
Morning.
How are you today? It's nice to see you back.
Thanks. Doing good. I was listening to a Wake Up Legendary podcast this morning, just prepping myself. And Dave asked a question where he just said, what's something that like your followers might not know about you? What would be surprising? And I feel like for my followers, it might just be like how not together my life sometimes is. Like real life is happening, right? So, I mean, this morning woke up and my 2 school-age kids have the stomach flu. So my husband's out there manning 4 kids instead of 2. And so you might hear them. I'm hoping you don't. But all that to say, like, I love that this business allows you to have that flexibility, but also real life happens. I'm just a normal person. So that's the kind of morning we're having over here.
Right? Oh, I get it. I mean, there's always some real life stuff. I feel like especially when you have kids, like there's always just things getting thrown at you. You're just like, all right, dodging them. What's going to be thrown today?
I know. And I feel like social media just allows you to paint a pretty picture, which is good. Like I really do feel like people want to see good and happy things. But yeah, it's like behind the scenes, we all have our own like little bit of chaos happening in our lives. But
that's a perfect word. Yeah. And I think what's important, because you're right, social media does paint a picture that there's no chaos. Everything's amazing. And sometimes newer people to the space still thinking about this or trying to start their own business, they have their regular chaos that we all do and think, man, I can't do this because everyone else's life is easy. And that's why they can. Right. So then they quit. And they give up on themselves.
I know. Well, and the amount of people that will come to me and go, I'm way too busy to start this, but it sounds cool. And I'm like, oh, girlfriend, if I could just talk to you about how busy I am. Like, I get it. I do. I have 4 little kids, 7 years old and younger. I get it. But we all can find the time. I promise. We can all find the time. You prioritize things. You give up your doom scrolling and your Netflix times. It's there. I promise. If you want.
Right. You'd be surprised how much time you can find if you give up the doom scroll.
For real. Go look at your screen time right now.
Right. Or not if you really want to get upset with yourself.
Yes, very true.
Yeah, as Phil says, you have to be intentional for sure. You have to be intentional with your time. And I think that's a good habit to start. And it's a good habit for others around you, say your children, to be able to see and begin to model as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I feel like people in general, we can be very unproductive. So by setting a timeline for yourself, and maybe it's not a rigid schedule, but at least I will allot 8 hours this week to my business. And then you can at least check those boxes as you go along and make sure that you're hitting your goals. If you feel like you can't anytime on Friday, fine, don't do anytime on Friday, but make sure you really double down on the other days of the week.
Right, right. It's all about carving out the time that works for you, but then committing to yourself to keep showing up in those times too.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So
anyway,
for anyone that's
how my morning was going, sorry about that.
I know, I love it. I love it. But so anyone that's new here that hasn't seen your past interview, give us how did you land online? You're a labor and delivery nurse. How did you find us? Were you into it right away? Were you looking for this? Did it just kind of fall? Give us the backstory.
Yeah. So my husband and I are both nurses, and we're originally from Denver, and he wanted to go into nurse anesthesia. And it surprises a lot of people to know that there's not a single nurse anesthesia school in Colorado, period. Not a single one, because the doctors kind of have a chokehold on it. They want the power there. So we knew we were going to have to move, and I was going to have to leave my very, very comfortable job that I had. You know, I'd been there as a nurse for 7 years, and so it just felt very easy, very comfortable. So when we were moving and I started looking at other job possibilities, lots of factors, but I called like some daycares around because now we had left family and everything like that. And it was going to be absurd to put my kids in daycare, but like so crazy. But it's like, okay, I'm not even going to be making my money back. I'm giving all my money to a daycare. So that's not really a good option. So then the choice was like, well, I guess we'll just do student loans. That's kind of what everybody does, but neither of us had had any student loans to this point. We're just very disciplined and work very hard. So that was kind of a crappy thought too. So then my algorithm got trained to this. I guess it was just, hearing our thoughts and what are we going to do? How do we make more money? And even my mom one day was like, have you ever thought about affiliate marketing? And I was like, I don't even know what that is. But then
your mom knew about it. I love that.
That's really the extent of what she knew. Like she had just said, have you heard about it? I've heard some people make money on social media that way. And I just kind of blew it off. But then, our phones are all programmed to listen in. And I think that's why then my algorithm started sending me a bunch of people within Legendary, not in Legendary, all different brands. And so I saw one, and I'm definitely like a fact finder personality. I have to like know all the different options out there and what's really going to be best. I like as much education as I can. So I looked at a bunch of the different options and ultimately decided to do Legendary because of the support system that they have, the mentorship that they have, the community that they have. I was like, okay, that's what we're going to hone in on. But then I definitely got, what's the right word? Like uncomfortable to show my face online. I just was so in my head about it. I just thought, ugh, that's cringy. That can't be me. There's no way I can put videos out there. What are people going to think? I had kind of a failed MLM experience before, so I feel like that kind of plays into it as well, just that like fear of failure. So my husband was like, well, I'm going through this education with you. What if I'm just kind of like the model? I'll be the face of it, and then you can help on the back end and create all the videos and put together all that stuff. So that's what we did for the first several months. And I actually had a period of time where I was running multiple different social media accounts that had different goals in mind, different niches in mind. And it was getting harder as they were getting bigger when people actually wanted to talk to my husband, but then it was like me doing a lot of the content, but then it was like, hey, you need to talk to them about this. And he's like, I didn't even come up with that video idea. Like, what are you talking about. So anyway, it got to the point where I'm like, I think I just need to do this. Like I took the reins on it. I need to do it on my own. So February 15th of this year, I opened my main account that I think is on the bottom of the page there. And now that I kind of had an idea of what I was doing, I at least knew how to make reels now and what kind of content was performing well within the niche that I was on. Then I was able to do, I feel like, pretty well for a beginner, and start creating content that was actually performing well. And now I was on Wake Up Legendary in June. And so since then, I think I was at like 20-ish thousand followers then. And now I've 5 times that. Had a lot more people through me join into Legendary as well and start their own businesses. And it's really cool. I always tell the people that talk with me and have conversations with me to follow up, and I will go follow them on their accounts and help them with their interactions and building their accounts as well. Because I just think that's cool. Like, that's why I came into it too, was to help other people be successful. And it's like, if you want, some people like to do it on their own and be quiet about it, but others do want a cheerleader in that, like, daily, oh, Quincey liked my photo. That's cool, because she was the one that helped me figure out where to go to learn these skills. So
right. I love that. I love the growth, the change. Like, when did you take, well, I love, first of all, that it was started with your husband as the face. That's like my favorite part.
The amount of eye rolls he had when I would be like, I need another video. And he's like, oh my gosh. I'm like, you said we were going to do it this way.
You know what I love the most is that it was always, I don't know where we're going to land, but we're going to figure it out. We're going to keep going.
Oh yeah.
And you guys shifted and adjusted, and pretty soon it turned into you having an account. You were the face. You were the, but there was still a team, and the whole time there was this but there was the focus of, we're going to have an online business. We're going to have a side hustle. We're going to do this, and we're going to make it work however we need to. And we're going to keep walking through open doors, keep opening new doors, and keep trying new things and see where it takes us.
Well, you just take the idea of failure totally out. Like, my husband and I have just kind of said since the beginning that we're just not going to quit. We'll just keep going and learning new things until it works. So then, like, this past Sunday, I got another high ticket sale. And I think that was like my 3rd one within the span of a couple weeks. And my husband was just like, nice, way to go. And I was like, I feel like you should be way more excited about this. And he's like, no, don't get me wrong, I'm not excited, but I just knew you were going to do it. So I'm not surprised. Because he's like, we've just said since the beginning, like, you're not going to quit. It's not going to happen. Like, we'll keep going. If we need to fine tune things or scale back, we can do that, but it's going to work. And so many times when people come to me too, especially in the beginning, people will come and say, it's not working. And I'm like, oh, just you wait, because I feel like that's how I felt in the beginning. And, running different accounts with my husband, you could get a new follower once every 5 days. Like, it's slow in the beginning and it can feel like nothing's happening. But for me, real growth didn't start happening until like month 4 or 5. And I would get some commissions here or there to kind of motivate you to keep going. But it definitely takes time for it to monetarily start to show all the work that you've been putting in. Yeah.
And through that process, the valley of despair, we'll call it, that time where you're like, you're doing the work, but you're not getting the return.
Yes.
That's that hard time. What do you think kept you both motivated to keep going?
I would definitely say that just following other people who were like telling me over and over again that it would work. So you would see people in that niche and they would give little, tips and tricks, and they would say, remember, it takes until month 4 or 5. And then also just listening to this podcast, because I would hear very similar things where people were like, oh yeah, it takes a while to build an account. And I think, unlike most jobs, you start a job and on day 1, you start getting paid with your hourly wage. And that's the way that our brains are programmed, is that, I signed on the dotted line, I'm going to do this job and you're going to pay me this amount of money. Whereas this one, it's not a guarantee. But if you listen to what the experts, the people who have done it, tell you, then you just know that, okay, if I do these few things and I'm constantly working on improving myself and improving my content and really helping others, then it's going to come. Because I also believe that whatever we put in will come back. And I think if we're willing to help people, and that's our main goal, the karma is going to come right back for you. I think the people that go into it with just the idea of, I'm going to make millions of dollars and that's all I care about, those are the ones that kind of come across desperate and scammy. Like you can sniff that out when they're just like, oh, well, all your problems will be fixed if you just, go buy this. And that's just, that's not my style. My style is definitely more of, I'm just ready to help those that want to get helped. And if you're not ready, that's totally fine. And it might not be for you. I had an experience this week with a gentleman who emailed me, and he asked if I would pay for the $5 challenge for him because he didn't have funds. And I emailed him back as nicely as I could. And I was just like, look, first of all, I feel like when you buy something yourself, you take on that responsibility of going through that education. You have ownership of it and you want to have that back. I'm like, and also, if you can't work hard enough to get $5, which literally could probably be walking around a street, you could probably pick up $5 on the ground, then this just isn't for you. And he got super offended, super mad. But I reflected on that and was just like, but it's true. This, to be an entrepreneur, you are going to have to work hard. You have to think outside the box. So if you can't think outside the box to go, okay, I need to learn some things and it costs me $5, and you can't come up with the way to make $5, then this probably isn't going to be the right path for you.
I mean, they're just in the wrong mindset. I've seen that, and it's like, it's never going to work because you're like, I want to see if this is real, so you should buy it for me. I've gotten those emails here as, with Legendary. Like, this isn't going to work for you. You're not even going into it with, how do I make this work?
Right. And you don't appreciate anything that's just given to you. So it's like, okay, even if I bought it for you, now would you log in, or would you just go, I don't even care that much?
I am a firm believer of skin in the game. I don't care what it is. It could be $1, but I am a firm believer of there has to be some skin in the game, or people will not take it seriously. And I've tested that in different business models, my brick and mortar, and it proved to be correct. How about that?
Oh no, I believe that 100% too. I see it with my kids every day, right? It's like, if they didn't buy it themselves or they didn't have to work hard for it, they don't care about it. Like they just don't. So if you give them ownership of it, they had to work hard to earn that toy. They're going to take care of it more than if I just gave it to them on a random Thursday,
Yeah. And if you think $5 isn't that big of a deal and someone could just buy it for you, then you should probably just buy it yourself.
Agreed.
Oh, it's amazing the level of trolling there is. Because that conversation made you think, was I rude? Was I mean? Was I out of line? Am I going against my vision of serving people? Because they make you feel like, well, if you really want to help people, you would give this away for free. And I've heard that over and over. And it's a shitty way to try and get something for free.
Yeah.
It's a crappy way to troll someone because they're actually going after the goodness in you.
Well, I think especially as like women, we often have our emotions more on our sleeve, and people will try to play those to make us feel a certain way. Like I just started training at a new hospital to open a brand new hospital, something I've always wanted to do as a labor nurse. And I still will only be working like once a week, once every other week. So it'll be great. But there was someone from Donor Alliance that came and was giving a presentation. And towards the end, he was like, this presentation is going to be a little sad and there's pediatric patients involved. So if you'd like to leave, you can. And I just stood up and left, not because I thought it was going to be offensive. And I was the only one that did. But part of me was like, sometimes I get sick of us like having our emotions played on us to make us feel a certain way, and so that can be the same way in this business, that like people will try to use your emotions and be like, well, if you were a nice person, if you actually cared about me, you would just do it for me. And it's like, no. Quite the opposite. I don't do a lot of things for my kids because I know that what's really best for them is to learn how to do it themselves. I think that's the same way in this business.
Yeah. I mean, it's not, you have to have some grit as an entrepreneur. And if you're unwilling to even put $5 down into your education, into exploring something, into committing to something for 5 days,
it's not going to
work. It's
Yeah.
not going to work.
Yeah.
You're not in the right mindset yet. You're not in the right mindset to even explore it appropriately. Just because you put $5 down or whatever just to explore something doesn't mean you're going to do it, but you're not going to explore it effectively to make an educated decision if you're not even willing to, you think somebody else needs to give it to you.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah. Wild. Oh, the internet, right? No.
Yeah.
So it's been such a roller coaster of growth. What have you learned about yourself, even from the last time you were on to now?
Yeah.
Because a lot's changed.
So I will say at the very beginning, I tried to make my business still like a W-2 job because that was just what I was used to. So, people said, you're your own boss, but I like self-made people that were my employer. Like I just started following people that I looked up to, that I respected, that I felt like their content was great and they were just killing it. And I would have a lot of like that copycat syndrome, or feel like if they were offering something, I needed to offer that thing too. Or if they were posting a certain kind of reel, I needed to post that same kind of reel. And I just felt that was the only way that I was going to be successful. But as I've grown and really learned, it's like, oh no, this is my social media account and I can choose what I do with it. So I do a few different things. I like to put my personality into it more. And one area of the internet that I felt like was lacking was finding the joy in motherhood and the happiness in life. So those two things have kind of taken on like a sub niche of mine. And I incorporate a lot of that content within my Make Money Online content, because I'm here advocating for moms to stay home with their kids. But at the end of the day, people need to like their kids and enjoy being home with their kids to even want that. So I feel like a lot of pages, it's strictly business. It's always the posts of here's why you should do this. Here's what it has to offer. I personally just like to include a little bit more of my personality and show the joys of parenthood, motherhood, and being around our families. Because I truly believe that on our deathbeds, we're not going to look back and say, oh, look how high I climbed that ladder. Wasn't that amazing? Or look at that insane car I had. Wasn't that great? Like, I really think that we're going to look at our kids and go, okay, what good did I do for the next generation? And how are they going to be uprising in here and bringing good into this world. So for me, that's like my main drive, is I just feel like parents in the home are such a crucial aspect to our society as a whole. So I like to try to share cool facts about that and why we should be at home. And then also, here's how you can do it. And so
Great.
I think that's like a uniqueness that I've found and developed over time. And then I'm also not afraid to add products and affiliate offers that aren't totally within my niche. They are in a way, but not in a huge way. So I see a lot of people that focus on just one, but I like to occasionally just throw in like, here's the phone case that I use and absolutely love. If you want it, here's my affiliate link. Or, like I did a 26 day full body detox and had a lot of success with that. And I was like, I should see if they have an affiliate program. They totally did. And so I've shared that a few times and made money that way too. And then it's just cool to also then turn around now and be like, hey, did you see how I just did that? How I just took a cleanse, really liked it, went and saw that they had an affiliate program, applied, reposted it on here, and made a bunch of money doing that. Like, that's such a cool thing, and you can kind of get it to integrate in. So I would say that's kind of how I've developed since the last time we talked. Is the last time I was on Wake Up Legendary, I kind of felt like, okay, I have my mentors that I just kind of do what they do and mirror what they say. Whereas now I just kind of feel like I'm my own person. You can choose to follow me and be here, and you're going to learn great things about motherhood and the importance of staying at home and how to make money along the way, and maybe some health and fitness tips too, since that's a hobby. Whereas I, before just felt like I am just Make Money Online and I will only post those things and you won't know anything about my life. And so it's been a fun like evolution, because I at the end of the day, we are all people, and I think we're very curious about how other people live and what they're doing.
As Sarah Thompson says, everybody's nosy. They want to see what's going on.
It's so true.
The reality is what Quincey just described is something we've been trying to hit home, and I hope people caught it. And if you didn't, I'm going to make it really, really clear. She's not focusing on the product. She's focusing on her audience.
Yes.
Her content is focusing on her ideal audience, and that's what brings them in.
Yeah.
And then she can make recommendations. And the recommendations is for the audience that can be how you can do the same kind of lifestyle that you're interested in that I'm sharing, as well as, all right, now I'm going to have you follow me as I do a 30-day cleanse, which would be probably normal for moms just like you to have those things, because we have different things that we focus on at different times a year or want to try and do. And now you're sharing that experience, and there's an affiliate link for it.
Yeah.
But you guys see how it's go back to your business plan, dial in your ideal audience, and start making content that is social for them, serving for them, connecting to them. And then you have a lot of options.
Yeah. Well, and one thing I heard over and over and over again, mostly from Sean Sorrentos, was brand yourself, brand yourself, brand yourself, not just, like dialing in. Because at the beginning, so many people are like, oh, stick with your niche, stick with your niche. But when I kept hearing brand yourself, it was like, okay, there's way more to me than just make money online. Way more to me, I'm a nurse and a mom and all these things.
But no one's going to follow that when it's just a sales video.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, yeah. So I think like you can incorporate a lot of aspects of who you are. I think the balance that I constantly see with new beginners is a lot of people don't want to follow just a random mom doing her daily things unless you're like an exceptional lifestyle. So you do kind of have to have some very valuable, high, like trafficked videos for people to look through and want to follow you in the beginning. But I definitely feel like as you build your account, people will come to you for more things and will want to, like those detox videos that I posted, the cleanse videos have been some of my highest viewed videos and highest followed videos because, I'm a nurse, I'm a mom. And so people can resonate with that too. But then a lot of
they're high value. They have a lot of value. They're high value. Yeah. And that's the other piece. Like, there has to be some meat to something that you're putting out there.
Yeah. Well, when I went through the fishing formula that you guys teach in the beginning, I was really dialed in on me, right? Like that was my target audience, was a version of me and who I was. But that person, I realized, is also interested in a lot of other things, not just make money online. They're interested in finding joy in motherhood. They're interested in losing weight. They're interested in, I don't know, random healthy meals, like that sort of thing. So it's not out of the norm. It's not out of whack to also incorporate some of those things into your page.
Right. And you can have fun with it depending on, what's going on in life, the age of your kids. I have teenagers. I could make content about what their reactions are when they see a crock pot on the counter of that's what dinner is, and how, life ending it is that there's a crock pot dinner coming, and then I could do a whole series on recipes of crock pot recipes that teenagers love. Right. And I could sell that as a digital product. I don't know. I'm just totally rolling this out, but there's so many options when you open your mind and get creative about what does my audience need?
Yeah, for sure. And I, just to pivot a little bit, one of my very best friends growing up started looking for a side hustle at the same time as me because she was a teacher and was pregnant with her first baby and was like, I don't want to go back after. And I told her at the same time that I was starting this that I'm like, I am going to go for this. It's a $5 course. It was $7 at the time. I'm like, I'm going to try this. I'm like, do you want me to send you what I'm going to start? And we could go through it together. And she was like, no, I'm not really interested in that. And I'm like, okay. So then as I've gone through, I've like updated her on my journey and she is still looking for a side hustle. So I feel like, a year later, she's still looking. And I've told her, I'm like, if you would have just started at the same time as me, you could have been here. So there's going to be a lot of people too that just don't want to take this step. But also I just feel like there's so many skills within affiliate marketing. You can take it in so many different directions, so many different niches. The skills are pretty simple. And it just is an uncapped income. So it's such a cool side hustle. I mean, I found such a passion in it and sharing it with other people. And I wish I could convince everybody, just like my friend, to be able to do it because I can see so much value in it. But yeah.
The ones that are too scared to even look into it, if there's so much fear because probably at this point, she's like hearing those voices. I can't do this. I won't be as good as her. What if I'm not as good as her? Is she going to compare? Am I, what if I fail? What if all those what ifs, those nasty little voices in our heads. And it comes right back down, Kathy's right, to their freaking confidence. To
Yeah.
their self-doubt is so huge that it's controlling their decisions. And they don't even realize it. And it's so key. And I know you, with as many followers as you definitely have a large group that haven't taken action at all because
Right.
of that one piece. Because of that one piece. They're
Yeah.
so scared of all the what ifs. And it
Right.
all comes back to their confidence. It's wild.
Well, I just feel
There's
that
something to address first,
right. Turn all of those reasons to not into like reasons to do it. Because I feel like switch the narrative. It should be way more scary to at this time next year still just be going, oh, if I only would have just started, I probably could have been making enough money to pay for my family expenses this month. And instead, I'm still sitting here scrolling through, social media, looking for a way out of my day-to-day and a way to pay for myself to be home with my baby. And so it's just unfortunate. So if I had any message for like new people today, it's like, just start, just look into the education. So many people that message me and go, I know it's only $5, but I'm just scared to start, or I just don't know if I can do it. And I just go, it's $5. And to me, that's not very much money. You just pay it, and then you start going through it, and then go through it again if you need to, and figure out which of those, core 4 business models are going to be best for you. Because maybe it's not affiliate marketing. Maybe you want to go into the digital marketing or the coaching or even events. Like maybe you're better at one of those otherwise, and you can learn about that as well and decide to go in one of those avenues. But the point is that there's so many different ways to make money online. And it's just so unfortunate to me that there are so many people, especially in my close spheres, that just don't want to for X, Y, Z, or think that they can't for X, Y, or Z.
It's ultimately they think that they can't.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll use the one friend you mentioned as an example. For a year, saying they want a side hustle, but just can't find it. I'm like, there's so many things to try. You can find plenty of things within about an hour if you wanted to search it.
Yeah.
But you have to go, okay, I'm worthy to start it and explore it.
Yeah. And I think sometimes it looks too good to be true, because she's listed things to me before like, oh, well, he naps so irregularly, so it's kind of hard to find something that fits. And I was like, oh, well, that's what I love about my side hustle is you can do it whenever. And, she's like, if only I could just find something that only I have to do after bedtime. I'm like, well, what do you know? The one that I do, you only have to do after bedtime. There's things that I'm like, it checks all the boxes. It's a great side hustle. So
yeah, totally. Yeah. It is. It's so flexible. But it's not ignorable.
Yeah.
You can't go, okay, I bought the challenge. I got a funnel live, and now I'm going to leave it forever and be a quadrillion zillionaire in 3 weeks. And it's like, no, none of that's true. That is not accurate. Yeah. That's not real life.
And I just see a direct correlation to that now. Like I mentioned, I was training at this new hospital. Well, it was a 9 to 5 for a week, which I haven't done in so long. It's so not my personality. I'm so grateful I don't have to do that. But I could tell just in the amount of sales that I was having, the amount of people that were converting, that I was not into my business much during that week. Because I wasn't. I would do 9 to 5. I came home, spent time with my kids, and woke up and do it again. So I was just doing like the bare minimum to keep business afloat. And you can tell. So on good days now, I've got my business to where I really only have to spend like 45 minutes to 2 hours for it to be good. And that's perfect. Like that's where I want to be. But it does still require that. I've noticed if you give it less than that, things aren't going to turn out the way that I'm used to them turning out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can't go, all right, how do I do the bare minimum?
Right.
I want you to go, how can I find more time is really what I want you to shift your focus to. How can I find more time, even if it's 10 minutes here, 15 minutes there? But how can I find a little more time to give my business a little more love? And if I look at myself as my own employee, am I happy with my production in my business as the employee?
Well, and everyone's business is going to be different. And so you have to identify what amount of time your business does need. Because I mean, an individualized business is also what's so key to this, because I will have people come to me and just straight up ask, well, how much money do you make? And I'm like, wow, there couldn't be a more irrelevant question, actually, because I am an affiliate for multiple different companies now, and there's no way that you're going to end up affiliating for the exact same ones that I affiliate for.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, and it's like, and you might not even go into my niche. Like, we have nothing in common, really. So what you're going to be interested in and what you're going to go off and share is going to be entirely different from what I am doing. So what I make is just very irrelevant to what you're going to make.
Well, and if somebody's getting into this solely for the dollar amount, this is going to be tough to hear. They're going to struggle to grow an account because all their focus is how fast can I get a commission, and all of their content is going to be pretty door-to-door salesy.
Yes.
And then they don't get followers, they don't get engagement, and then they get pretty pissed, and then they say this doesn't work. And it's like, well, you weren't actually following what you were taught, one. Mm-hmm. Two, you weren't focused on collecting your followers and serving first. You just wanted, what can this give me? And when that's your focus, people can smell that. And then also, you weren't in it for the long haul. A business is, what am I going to be? Where do I want my business in a month? Where do I want it in 6 months? Where do I want it in a year? Where do I want it in 5 years?
Yeah.
We need more beginners and those starting out to start looking and having that longevity vision. And then things really start to come into play a lot better.
Yeah. And I had learned somewhere along the way, too, that really the only thing you should ask of people until you're like, I think it was like 10,000 followers or something, is just for a follow. Like, if you enjoyed this, if you want to see more tips like this, if you could follow my account, maybe like this post, that would be great. But what I see over and over again is people asking for way more than that. And it's also very hard to believe sometimes. Like, I've had people come to me and say, hey, will you look at my account? And I'm always happy to do that. So I will look at people's account and I'm like, okay, so you have 200 followers and you're talking about how you can make $10,000 a month. And I'm like, you can put whatever you want in your content, but I will just say, like, that doesn't seem very believable from an outsider. You just go, well, probably not from this account. So where's the actual money coming from? Because unless those 200 people are spending a lot of money on you each month, it's like,
you got one hell of a high ticket offer.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's how it has to work.
Yeah. So that's usually what I tell people is, it's like, just give freely for a while. Don't go into it thinking that you're going to make tons of money. Just go into it trying to help people and learn. Share tips that you learn. Share the interesting things about whatever niche that you're in, so that other people will be like, oh, that is interesting. I would like to follow you because of that, rather than, just asking for something every single time.
I'm one of the first emails I sent for Legendary was about 3 years ago, almost 3 years ago. We're getting close to that. One of the first emails I wrote was that you need to treat your followers, your new followers, like it's a blind date. Right? That. There's some give and take. You're going to meet, it might be for coffee, but you're not going to show up and be like, all right, give me your credit card. Let's have a joint banking account. We'll be married tomorrow. And that's what asking for the sale in that very first video before you have any type of relationship built. That's what it feels like. Mm-hmm. And it feels icky. It feels uncomfortable. It feels scary. Yeah. Right? There has to be this give and take of, you're just showing up to a blind date for a quick coffee. Maybe you ask for their email address, you give them your free lead magnet, and that's it. And then they're going to come watch a few more videos. They're going to start reading some of your emails. You're not going in for the marriage proposal on a blind date off of Tinder, right? You're just not.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I feel like it's so important to just work on the foundation, work on establishing your brand and who you are. And just being a happy, uplifting person. Because I've also seen some posts where I just feel like it comes across as like whiny and desperate. And I just feel like
those are the focuses are back on themselves. Like, you should be clicking on my link. Yes. I need this. I need that. Nobody you have to serve. What do they need? What's in it for them?
Yeah.
That's what you have to give them.
Yes, agreed. Especially when you're a new account, like brand new, and trying to just get people to come in. Like, people want to know that you have something to offer, not that you're just going to be there begging and begging and begging.
Yep, For sure. They got to get something from you, and it's got to be of value and makes them feel good. And then you start getting that really cool following that's fun to make content for.
Yeah. Well, and it is also nice because once you start to establish some relationships with these people, they come to your defense when the trolls come out. Like I've had that happen before too, when people, will come out and say negative things to me, and I'll have some of my followers jump in who I recognize them from previous comments or messages that they've sent me, and they'll stand up for me. And that's a super cool thing too, because then you're like, oh, we're like internet friends. This is fun. We've built a community where like me and I've talked with you, and we're social media friends, just helping each other figure out these ways to make money online and defending each other along the way and brainstorming ideas. And
I love it. I love it. So fun. So I want to leave you with the last word. What's your advice for someone in the challenge right now?
Oh, the challenge is great, and there's a lot more information than I feel like people give it credit for. So I've gone through the challenge multiple times, and what I like to do is truly just grab a piece of paper and a pen and just write down the things that I've learned from that day and how I want to implement it into my business. Because if I were to go through that challenge again starting today, I know that I would still learn more things and I would still pick up more things. It is just jam-packed with information, and like I mentioned, not just affiliate marketing, but like all the different ways that you can make money online, including like faceless digital marketing too. So I guess I would just say, like, go into it with a very open mind and know that there's way more information than just going through it once. It's not something that you can only go through one time and that you just have to click play and hope that you don't have to, skip out to help a kid or something. You can pause it, you can come back to it, you can replay it over and over again. It comes with a ton of different resources, like the page of hooks that I used religiously at the beginning. I would just pick a hook and then fill in the blank after it. Because when you're beginning, you need a lot of ideas. I love the 5-day challenge. That's why I promote it. I feel like it's super helpful to help people know if this can actually be a good fit for them. So go into it with an open mind, take lots of notes, and be willing to go back through it again until you feel confident.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I love it. And you got to come back. We need you at a mastermind.
One day, I have a dream, one day to come.
I love it. I love it. This has been phenomenal. I just feel so pumped that I got to be the one to talk with you today.
Yeah, this was fun. I didn't get to talk to you last. Good.
I love it. I love it. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, no problem.
And you definitely have to come back. I always love updates, so we'll definitely have you back for sure.
I'll be there. Not going anywhere, so I'll have more updates to come.
Awesome. I love it. Thanks again.
Thanks, Joanna.
All right, guys, please go follow Quincey on Instagram at Where We Matter Most. All connected. Where We Matter Most. That is her social media handle, which I love. So go follow Quincey on Instagram at Where We Matter Most. Go give her a follow. Comment that you saw her on Wake Up Legendary. This is a rewatch for sure. I mean, every episode, I can't even remember when it wasn't a banger, but they are all freaking bangers. I mean, if you really want free education, free tips, advice, help, Wake Up Legendary really rolls it out every single morning. It's pretty awesome. And for those that are on live or you're watching the replay, you're taking advantage of a massive resource, which is huge. And I'm excited for you, and I'm excited for where you take it, what type of action you put in from what you learn here within the education here at Legendary and just from watching the show. But fantastic episode with Quincey as always, and I can't wait to have her back. All right. It's a big week that's coming up because we are releasing something we've been working on for quite some time. Affiliates are going to find out about it, all the details here today and tomorrow. All these little teasers will start coming out. And I'm pretty excited about it. We've been having our team, all of our advisors going through our new product as we speak, which I'm pretty pumped about. And I know it's going to be pretty amazing for everyone here. I'm not even going to say anymore. I'm not even going to tease anymore, but I'm pretty excited about it. So be on the lookout for that. Be sure to join us at a mastermind. And as always, stay legendary. Peace. Have a great day, guys.